Peace. Well, I'm back with another final say. So today's topic may be insensitive, sensitive, and may trigger some people. None of my videos are intended on doing that. However, the more my platform grow, I have to get deeper with a lot of the topics that I do speak about and or I bring up. So sometimes, some things may be said and it's not to trigger anybody or to get up under anybody's skin or to bother anybody. It's to bring up bigger, better, stronger conversation and more dialogue about said topic or said conversation. So today I want to get into child support and abortion. How child support and abortion, how it's breaking up homes and it's affecting a lot of cultures and it's affecting a lot of communities. So the first thing I want to get into is abortion. At the end of the day, it's a lot of laws and rules in place for women to have abortions, and I'm not here to fight against those laws, rules, or those things that are in place for women to have abortions. However, when you do have an abortion, it can do a lot of various different things to your body. That's important for you to understand that. So if you have X amount of abortions, after a while, you may not be able to have any more abortions. So it's important if you're going to have an abortion to consider that at the end of the day. And it's nothing wrong, like I'm saying, with having them, but you have to think about that. And if you are spiritual or you are religious, then you might want to reconsider having an abortion as well. And if you're not religious and or spiritual, then peace and power to you. But if you are, you may want to reconsider that if you're telling somebody else how deep you are into spirituality or into religion, and you have had or may be considering having an abortion, or you may be, knowing a family member that's having an abortion, you may be into spirituality and or religion. You may want to talk them out of it at the end of the day. And I'm not here for you to talk them out of it or for you to talk them into it. I'm just saying be mindful of that at the end of the day. And for two, if you do agree with this theory or this logic with it being your body, your choice, consider that, when a man doesn't want you to have the child and you keep it, and, it should be his choice whether he's there or not. You shouldn't want to place him or put him in a double standard and say, well, I did keep the child, he should be obligated to take care of it, because let's go on the other end and he wants you to keep the child and you don't. If you agree with the logic or the theory of it being your body, your choice, you can do what you want. He should be able on the other end now to not be obligated to step up and be there for that child. If you agree with the my body, my choice logic and the theory, if you don't agree with that, then that don't apply to you. But if you do, consider that guy being placed on child support or having to deal with the responsibility of getting the stigma of being a deadbeat dad or a man or a father that doesn't want to be in that child's life. Definitely if he told you he don't want to be there for said child. And another thing about the child support situation, again, if you consider placing a man on child support and you agree with the my body, my choice situation, then you should want to hold him accountable, because when you have an abortion and he can't really have a say-so over your body, your choice, then that means he's not able to hold you accountable. He can't take you to court and tell a judge or tell the system, so to speak, well, she had an abortion and I wanted her to keep my child. They're not going to hold you accountable for that. But now, if you knew or he talked to you prior to you, telling him, I'm going to keep this baby no matter what you say, it's my body, my choice, I can do what I want, which is accurate. So on the other end, you shouldn't want to hold him accountable now that he doesn't want to be involved with that child at the end of the day. Like, give him what you want to be given or what you want to be granted. You want to be able to do what you want. And whether you believe that that is correct or incorrect, whether that's due to government, your family, outside influence, peer pressure, so on and so forth, again, if you believe in the my body, my choice, allow him not to be there for said child if he doesn't want to be there. Don't hold him accountable, because if you decide to have an abortion and he can't take you to court and say, well, you had an abortion, he wants to hold you accountable for that, and nobody's going to look at you as and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, but nobody's looking at you as a person that is a bad person because you got rid of that baby. I'm not going to use certain terminology because I don't want anybody to flag my channel or the video, but nobody's going to look at you as an unfit person because you got rid of that child. So the same thing in regards to that man, he needs to be looked at under that same umbrella at the end of the day, because now you kept said child for you, and you know he didn't want the baby. Vice versa. If he did want the child and you didn't want it, you're going to run with the "it's my body, my choice." So give him that same opportunity to not be there for the child. If he told you he didn't want the child, or if he told you he wouldn't be able to be there for the child financially, or he wouldn't have set amount of time, or he wouldn't have set amount of effort and energy he's going to put in with said child. He might not have time to be there for that child when that child is growing up, going to school. He might not have time to pick said child up from school. He might not have time to read to that child, to educate that child. He might not have time to take said child to basketball games or football games, or he might have not have time to take that child, if it's a young lady, to certain things that come with being a father to the young lady at the end of the day. So we got to weigh that when we're talking about a man being held more accountable if the child is kept, and a woman not being accountable if the child is not kept. It's like that double standard can apply for the man if she keep it, and the double standard doesn't apply to the woman if she doesn't keep it, because if it's my body, my choice, you're doing what you want. I'll grant you that. But now, if you're keeping it and he doesn't want it, what place does that put that man in? And some people can say, well, you're speaking from a man experience. I'm a man, so I would know what it's like. If a man doesn't want to be there for said child, he shouldn't be placed on child support. He shouldn't be looked at as a bad man, a bad person, or a deadbeat dad. Definitely, if he spoke up about it, he shouldn't be categorized as anything. And if you're a woman and you don't want to keep it, he shouldn't look at you as a bad person or unfit person because you didn't want to keep that child. And if you do keep the child and he wanted you to keep the child, you tell him, well, I'm keeping this for you and I want you to do X, Y, Z. He should be willing to step up and do the things that you looking for him to do because you really didn't want the child. So it can't go one way. It can't go if you keep this child and he don't want it. He's just a deadbeat dad. He get placed on child support and the world is on his shoulders and he have to do everything now to keep income, or his passport could be taken away, or his license could be stripped away based around him not wanting a child. And it can't be, well, he had sex with me and he should have used protection. I mean, it goes vice versa. A woman could protect herself. There's more things in place for a woman to protect herself than it is for a man. A man could just use a condom and that's that. And if he doesn't use a condom, or he does use a condom and that doesn't work, there's nothing else in place for him to protect himself from getting a woman pregnant. But it's things in place to prevent women from getting pregnant. So when we're talking about child support and when we're talking about abortions, we have to weigh it out. You just can't say, okay, I had this child and he doesn't want to be there no more, or I don't like how he treated me, or I don't like he got with another woman. I'm going to place him on child support. From your perspective, that could be right, but you don't know now the pressure that you're bringing to him or the pressure you're putting him under, and vice versa. You don't know by getting this woman pregnant the changes her body have to go to nurture this baby for the next 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, or if it's a premature birth, the things that they have to go through, or they have in a C-section. They have to take their body through a lot for premature birth, for C-section, to carry that baby, to nurture that baby for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, so on and so forth. So if you're a man, you don't know the changes you're taking her through by carrying that child or by carrying your child. And another thing we have to understand, when you're a woman and you get pregnant and you do have, and the man doesn't know you have multiple sex partners, you already know you're going to be a mother. He have to take your word when you're saying it's his baby. So at the end of the day, we have to weigh that as well. When you say, well, this is your baby, and you know that he might not know that you have multiple sex partners. So if that's the case, don't just entrap him in that situation. Give him the benefit of the doubt. And if he say, yo, I want to take a DNA, don't be upset with him. Allow him to take that DNA. And if that child is not his, look to find the father for that child, but don't just entrap somebody into the situation because you don't want to hold yourself accountable because you have multiple partners. Because at least God has given you that right. When you're pregnant, you know you're the mother immediately. That man might not be the father. He may be accepting that he is the dad. So when we talk about child support and abortions, it's various different things we have to be mindful of when we talk about the man and when we talk about the woman. And men or women are different when it comes to abortions and child support. A man could be placed on child support for a child that might not even be his. And a woman may say, it's my body, my choice, and she could just have an abortion. You don't know the impact that that abortion may have on said man by you just having an abortion and not keeping his child at the end of the day, or the person that impregnates, you might not know the impact they may have on them. And by keeping that child, and he may not want it, you may not know the impact that that may have on said man for keeping the child. He didn't want it. You may not know he could go into depression. He might become suicidal. You don't know the mental toll that could take on him because he wasn't psychologically and mentally ready for you to have his child. And I'm not saying that he should just be easily forgiven for you not wanting to have a child or for you wanting to have his child. But we have to think that both parties involved, it should be a mutual thing. So before you lay down and have sex with somebody, definitely unprotected, you need to have that conversation. Look, this can happen. I can get pregnant, and you know what? I don't believe in abortions. Or if I get pregnant, I might not keep this child. So now that man, now he know what he's dealing with. Vice versa, if you the dude, let her know, look, if you get pregnant, even if I protect myself and this condom might pop, or this condom might not be 100% proof, I'm not ready to be a dad yet. I'm not ready to be a father. So therefore now, coming into this situation, she should be open-minded, understanding that this guy is not fully ready to be a dad. Or vice versa, she's not ready to be a mom. So now that burden of the responsibility is not just placed on the other person that's involved. And trust me, I will make a lot more parts. And I know some people may get at me in the comments. I'm not worried about that. Just consider what I'm saying. And before I close out the video, I want to say this. A lot of people have the tendencies of attacking people and not what's said. I don't mind you attacking what's said, but try to understand not to attack the person that's saying it. Just try to attack what was said. Okay, everybody? Everybody stay blessed. May God watch and may God bless. And trust me, I will make a lot more parts. Peace, world.